Chapter 13. Do Not Pass Go. Okay, so I was wrong. They weren't laughed off stage, and nobody threw food at them. The Heavenly Hatchers were a big hit. So what? That doesn't change my mind about them. By the end of the day, Sheila and the Natural Beauties were getting along like they'd known each other all their lives. Sheila could even tell them apart. It's easy, she explained on the way home from school. That is, if you're a person who notices details, which obviously you aren't, Peter. Sheila invited them to stay overnight at her apartment. Since Libby's gone away to school, I have a big room all to myself. Yes, I thought, go directly to Sheila's. Do not pass go. Do not go back to my apartment, ever. The Natural Beauties begged and pleaded, but Cousin Howie wouldn't go for it. You know how we feel about sleepovers. You don't want to expose yourselves to bad influences, do you? I looked around at the row of sleeping bags on our living room floor and said, Isn't this a sleepover? No, Peter, my boy, Cousin Howie said. This is a family reunion. But Eurodora said, You know, Howie, maybe it's not a bad idea to give our girls just an itsy-bitsy taste of freedom. Spida, Tootsie asked, thinking Eurodora was going to sing the itsy-bitsy spider with her. Cousin Howie looked at Eurodora as if she'd suggested something totally shocking. What are you saying, sweetheart? I'm saying that sleepover would take place right in this building just 2 floors away. But what do we know about this Tubman family? Howie asked. I was thinking I could tell them plenty about the Tubmans, but before I had the chance, Mom said, We've known the Tubmans for years. We spent our summer vacation with them, Dad added. Shared a house in Maine for 3 weeks. My mother is married to Buzz Tubman's father, Mom said. You can't get much closer than that. The Natural Beauties held their breath. I saw their fingers crossed behind their backs. What about their morals? Howie asked. What about their values? Mom said morals. Dad said values. Well, Mom and Dad looked at each other. I jumped in. Excuse me, but I happen to know that Sheila thinks about a lot of stuff like that. I didn't add that she thinks my brother has no values, and Fudge stretched out the word until he was sure he'd had everyone's attention. I knew he wouldn't be able to keep his mouth shut much longer. I might even marry Sheila, he told the Howies. Last summer we played husband and wife. Played husband and wife, Howie said. It was an innocent game, Mom said, trying to reassure Cousin Howie. We didn't even sleep in the same bed, Fudge said. Sleep in the same bed, Dora said. Neither did Grandma and Buzzy Sr., Fudge added, not until they got married. Now they play kissy face all the time. Kissy face, the Natural Beauty shrieked with laughter. Minnie licked Tootsie's arm. She petted his head the way she pets Turtle. Finally, Howie and Eurodora agreed to go down to meet Sheila's family. They returned half an hour later with Sheila and announced to Mom and Dad they decided to let the Natural Beauties have a sleepover. Sheila and the Natural Beauties hugged and then jumped up and down to celebrate the good news. I felt like jumping up and down, too. I'm still not entirely comfortable with the idea, Cousin Howie told the Natural Beauties as they rolled up their sleeping bags and threw a few things into their backpack. They'll be fine, Howie, Dad said. If you don't mind, Tubby, I'll handle this myself. Dad raised his eyebrows, but he didn't say anything else. Okay, Cousin Howie said. His bulky frame blocked the door so the Natural Beauties couldn't escape. First, I need assurances from you. The Natural Beauties eyed each other. Number 1, Cousin Howie said, no pop music. I almost laughed, but the Natural Beauties nodded and repeated, no pop music. Number 2, Howie said, none of those fashion magazines with advice to the lovelorn. The Natural Beauties nodded again. Number 3, no TV. What do you mean by no TV, Mr. Hatcher? Sheila asked Cousin Howie. Except Sesame Street, Eurodora added, smiling sweetly. Sesame Street is okay. Don't you think, Howie? Tootsie watches Sesame Street, Fudge said. We all watch Sesame Street, Sheila said. I don't approve of TV, period, Howie said. It turns thinkers into vegetables. What kind of vegetables, Fudge asked. I like carrots and corn. Never mind, Cousin Howie said. Richie Potter likes broccoli, Fudge told him. I said never mind, Howie told him again. What about books, Sheila asked. Books are okay, right? None of those series books, Howie told her. What about friends, Fudge asked. Our girls are lucky to have each other, Eurodora said. I have Pete, Fudge says, but I still like to choose my own friends. He pranced around the living room. Know who my best friend is in mixed group? It's Richie Potter. Know who my best friend is in this building? It's Melissa Beth Miller. She lives in Jimmy Fargo's old apartment. Her cat's name is Fuzzball. He dropped to the floor and crawled around, meowing. Fuzzball was going to be a wizard for Halloween. Now he was back on his feet, spinning. Know what I'm going to be for Halloween? He spun until he was so dizzy he fell to the floor. I'm going to be a miser. I'm wearing my money tie from Fudgington. Cousin Howie's mouth opened, but no words came out. Minnie cried when the Natural Beauties left. until Mom promised him a sleepover too. Where's he going? Fudge asked. To your room, Mom said, as Minnie dragged his sleeping bag down the hall. Fudge took Mom's hand and led her into the kitchen. I don't want Minnie in my room. He's our guest, Fudge, Mom said. He looks up to you. So sleeping in your room would be a treat for him. He might lick my arm in the middle of the night. Cousin Eurodora says licking is Minnie's way of kissing. It means he really likes you. I don't want him to lick me. You can keep your arms inside your blanket. Suppose I forget. Once he's asleep, you'll be safe. Suppose he doesn't go to sleep. I guarantee he'll go to sleep, Mom said. I still don't like it, Fudge told her. Why can't he have a sleepover with Pete instead? Oh no, I said. I stay up way too late for him. Besides, Turtle might bark all night. Mom settled it. Minnie's going to sleep on the floor in your room, Fudge. Okay, Fudge said. Then I'll sleep on the floor in Pete's room. No way, I told him. Then I went to my room, locked the door, and lay down on the bed with a Dave Barry book I borrowed from Grandma. She says he's always good for a laugh, and a good laugh was exactly what I needed. When the natural beauties out of the way, Minnie started talking for himself. His voice was such a surprise I looked around to see if maybe Fudge was talking for him, the way he had for Uncle Feather, but no, it was Minnie himself, standing on Fudge's step stool, peering into Uncle Feather's cage. Nice bird, he said. His name is Uncle Feather, Fudge told Minnie. Nice bird, Minnie said again. Call him Uncle Feather, Fudge said. That is his name. You're Uncle Feather, Minnie said, pointing at Fudge. No, I'm Fudge. No, I'm Fudge, Minnie said. No, you're not, Fudge told them. You're Farley, but we call you Minnie. No, he's Farley, Minnie said, pointing to me. No, he's Pete, Fudge said. Who's Pete? Minnie asked. I give up, Fudge shouted in frustration. No, I give up, Minnie said, laughing. You're a turkey brain, Fudge shouted at him. Gobble, gobble, Tootsie said as she toddled past Fudge's room. It rained all weekend, not that the Howies minded, because by Saturday morning they were hooked on TV. I'm not sure how it happened. It could be that on Friday night when Dad checked the Weather Channel, Eurodora was intrigued. Why, look at that, Howie. Isn't that fascinating? You can follow the weather all over the country. They even show the Hawaiian Islands. For the next 2 hours, she and Howie watched the Weather Channel. Then Howie got hold of the remote control, and that was it. Talk about turning into vegetables. It was amazing. For all I know, they pulled an all-nighter. I got up once to peek and could still see the flickering lights coming from the living room. I think they were watching returns of I Love Lucy. They were laughing their heads off as if they'd never seen anything like it. I realized then that they probably hadn't. Mom had to go to work on Saturday morning, and Dad had a usual list of errands. But because of the heavy rain, he didn't want to take Fudge or Tootsie with him. I knew it was coming. Peter, I won't be gone more than an hour. I've put Tootsie in for a nap, so if you can just keep an eye on Fudge. Don't worry, Tubby, Eurodora said, yawning. I'll keep an eye on the little ones. Cousin Howie was surfing from Saturday morning cartoons to the Weather Channel to CNN headline news to a return of an Oprah special. I went to check on Fudge. He was on the floor of his room building a Lego rocket. Minnie was back on the step stool keeping watch over Uncle Feather. Nice bird, I heard him say. As soon as Dad left, Turtle started barking at the door. That's what he does when he has to go out. I should have walked him when I first got up, but walking Turtle in the rain isn't exactly fun. I figured the Howies have 3 kids and another on the way. They could manage without me for 15 minutes. I pulled on my rain jacket and grabbed an umbrella. The second we were in the elevator, Turtle knew it was raining out. Don't ask me how he knows, but he always does. He can smell it, I guess. He hates rain. When we reached the lobby, I had to pull him toward the door. When we got to the door, he whimpered. When I tugged on the leash, he lay down and rolled onto his back, trying to get me to feel sorry for him. He'll do anything not to set foot on wet pavement. Henry watched, shaking his head. How's the bird? He asked. The same. Still not talking, not a word. I crouched down beside Turtle and talked to him very softly. Look, you have to do your thing, like it or not. It's not good for you to hold it in for so long. He turned his head, pretending not to hear me. Olivia Osterman offered a doggy treat. Thanks, I said. He could be rebelling against his name, she said, if he had a proper name like George or Rufus. It's the rain, I told her. Turtle sat up and ate his treat. I suppose I should have saved it for after he did his thing as a reward. I heard the umbrella over his head, and I urged him outside. He cowered next to the building. Okay, fine. If you want to do it here, go ahead, but we're not going back inside until it's done.